Okay, so essentially, the way you would want to work on a mesh, like this is my Toro I made for my Japanese environment. I'll make a new file. I'll use the same thing, select the low poly version of it. Gonna set up my weird shit that I'm doing here. Give me a second. Discard. And then I will texture set, bake mesh, add my high res, which should be in my projects folder, Japanese Shrine, exports, Toro High. So now that I have this, I'm just gonna set it to 4K, bake, let this bake down. Okay, so majority of the time you're going to be working with just fill layers. You'll never really use a normal paint layer or just a regular layer. You're always going to really use fill layers. And you can, for example, make it to where, say you want this fill layer to be this reddish color, right? And we make it metallic and turn its roughness like really, really rough. And say we don't want it to be around this entire like area over here. What you can do is add the black mask to it, which will basically just give it to everything, but will take it away off of everything. If you put a white mask on it, it will keep it on everything. So in this sense, since we only want it off of a small area, we would use a white mask and then go to the Polygon fill tool, put it on this one, which affects quads. You see how it still has the quads as UVs? The triangular one affects tris. So for example, if I show you real quick on like this portion of this mesh, it will only do a try out of that square. So this is why I say it's the tri tool, the quad tool, the polygon entire polygon fill tool, and then the UV chunk tool, because it fills a UV chunk. So we would go to the quad tool, and we would we would go to the UV chunk tool, because this is entire UV shell. And then same thing with the top one, just to get rid of it. What I was essentially trying to say was, if you have overflow like how you did, maybe trying to get rid of it by going in and using your fill layer, whatever fill layer you had, which I think was a black one, right? And going on to wherever the overflow was and putting it to the color of your fill layer, so like a black, to get rid of that overflow by just erasing it off of that quad. But masking wise, if you hit Y and then you, for example, paint black, if you hit Y, let me go back to my material. If you hit Y and you paint black with the brush tool right here, right? Or you could even not use the brush tool. Clear that with Y again. If you hit Y and you go to the even the polygon fill tool and say you want to click and drag on these meshes, which is right there, it will fill those too. And then if you hit U, it will go back. And now, if I add another layer over here, another fill layer with a mask, and go to the paintbrush tool and switch the paint color to white because I'm dumb, you won't affect that black mask. And then you hit Y again and it doesn't affect it. See what I mean? So essentially you can do the same thing, and if you hit Y to go back to your mask tool, you go back over to your polygon fill tool, put it to white this time instead of black. Here, put it to white this time instead of black in Y. Or maybe it only works with black? I guess it only works with black for some reason. But essentially you can mask things off like that. Hope this helped, maybe a little bit. Other than that, I wouldn't really use your erase tool, because if you're in a mask and you have to erase something, you're basically erasing nothing, because if you're using masks correctly, it shouldn't even erase anything. The way you would get rid of something in a mask is by doing the opposite color, by doing the same color as the mask, by going in here and painting with white, for example. If I didn't, well, black, say if this was unpainted, so you wanted it to be, you would just go to white, so it would repaint what's not being masked. Hope this helped. I'll post it on YouTube and send you the link. Yeah.